Hi, welcome to Yoga at the Library. We have a nice class today that's going to do a little bit of everything. You don't need any props unless you want to have a towel or a blanket to pad underneath your knees. Otherwise, you are good to go. So we'll begin on our mats, laying down today on our backs. So laying down on your back. However laying down on your back looks, whether you need to have knees bent or it feels good to have your legs straight, whatever feels best to you is how you should be positioning yourself. So just getting horizontal and getting used to the idea of being flat down on your mat. Letting your arms be heavy wherever they are, whether it's hands to your belly, up overhead, or out to the side somewhere. Your legs are relaxed wherever they are. Checking in with your spine. Most or all of it is making contact with the floor and noticing how that feels. Do you feel tight spots? Do you feel any release or opening? Does it feel comfortable or does it feel uncomfortable? And if you feel discomfort, try to adjust your legs to make your back feel good against the mat. Once you get your body situated, we'll check in with the breath. Taking some deep, full breaths in and out. Filling those lungs all the way on the inhalation. Feeling the rib cage expand, the lungs expand. And then pressing all that stale air out. Pressing the belly button in towards the spine, contracting that rib cage. Doing it all over again. But maybe for the first time today, actually paying attention to it. Noticing how your breath feels. To move, so we'll extend one leg long, extend the left leg long, and hug the right knee in, holding on to that knee, relaxing the foot and the ankle on that right side, bringing the knee into big or small circles. Feeling out that right hip, just letting the foot and the ankle flop around. Noticing if you feel any tightness, soreness, weirdness in your right hip. Switch directions. Drawing circles in the opposite way. Bring that knee back to center, hugging it in towards the body. And we'll extend the leg up. The knee can stay bent here. You don't need to straighten the leg all the way. We're rolling circles with the ankle. So it's like we're drawing circles with the toes on the ceiling. Strengthening the calf, strengthening the little muscles that keep our ankles strong. Switch directions. Notice if those little muscles start to get tired. And we'll bend the knee back in. Extend the right leg long. Feeling how the floor feels. Noticing how your right leg feels way different than your left leg, even just after those two little movements. Feeling a difference in temperature, a difference in the vibrations going on in those muscles. Bringing the left knee in and holding onto that knee. Relaxing the foot and the ankle. Drawing circles, big or little circles with the left knee. Checking in with that left hip. Again, noticing if you feel tightness, soreness, weirdness in that hip. Go ahead and switch directions. We'll extend the left foot up towards the ceiling. That knee can stay bent, that's just fine. Drawing circles with the toes. Rolling out the left ankle. Noticing if this foot is a little bit less coordinated than the right foot. Your circles are more like a dome shape, or not so smooth. Rolling those circles in the opposite direction. Noticing those little muscles starting to get a little tired. Hug that knee back in. And extend the left leg out long. Reaching the arms up overhead and stretching from the fingers all the way down to the toes. We'll take the arms out wide to the side in a T. Bending the knees. And we're just going to slowly rock the knees from one side to the other. Exhaling, the knees come down. Inhaling, they come back up to center. And exhaling, they go down to the opposite side. Just moving with the breath, waking up the spine. Rolling out the backs of the hips against your mat a little bit with your movement. Seems like everyone is having sciatic nerve problems right now, so rolling out that sciatic nerve area, the low back, top of the hip. Come down to one side with the knees and then roll the upper body to lay on one side. And we'll make our way up into a seated position. Sitting with our ankles crossed. Sitting up tall. Noticing maybe some space in the hips. Extending the spine long. Rooting evenly through both sit bones. Checking in with how this position feels for your legs, for your ankles and your feet, for your spine. We'll inhale the arms coming all the way up. Exhale. exhale down to one side, reaching up and over. Inhaling up to center. And exhaling down to the other side, stretching out the sides of the core, the obliques, the shoulders, the tops of the hips. Meet back up at center, bringing the hands on down. We'll switch the ankle so the opposite ankle is in close, sitting up nice and tall, bringing the hands into heart. And we'll do some arm circles to wake up the upper back, the shoulders. Taking a big deep breath in here. Exhaling, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms forward. Stretching between the shoulder blades. Inhaling, palms come up. Exhaling, hands come back behind, hands interlace. And inhale to lift the heart, lift the hands, and lift the chin. Exhaling, hands come back into heart. Deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing the palms forward, rounding through the upper back. Inhaling, palms up, shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling, hands reach back and interlace. Inhaling, palms up, or hands up, chin up, chest up. Exhaling, hands back to heart. One more. Deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing the palms forward. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, hands back behind. Inhaling, opening the chest. And exhaling, hands come back to center. All right. We'll take both hands to the knees. We're going to make big circles with our chests, rounding back, pulling ourselves forward between the knees, making big circles, checking in with the tops of the hips, checking in with the obliques and the low back. Noticing again any weirdness. Switching directions. Using your knees for leverage and for balance. Making your way back to center. Sitting up nice and tall, feeling out that spine. Standing up through the crown of the head and making your neck nice and long. Maybe give the tops of your shoulders a little rub. Feeling any soreness or tightness. You can do this anytime, even if it's not a yoga class. We'll make our way onto hands and knees. And this is where if you've got a blanket or a towel that you want to pad your knees with, this is a great time to do that. Or you can fold your mat to have a double layer underneath your knees. So we're coming into tabletop position, wrists right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips, and the rib cage and the spine are straight between the shoulders and the hips. So our bellies, our cores are working to keep that spine straight. The eyes are down towards the mat in between the fingertips to keep the whole spine neutral. And we'll move into cat and cow. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, pulling the heart through. Exhaling, rounding up through the back, tucking the tailbone and tucking the chin in towards the chest. Feeling out your entire spine, moving with your breath. And if you feel any places that need a little bit of a wiggle side to side or forward and back, listen to your body and do those movements. Making your way back to a neutral spine. Let's go ahead and tuck our toes on both feet. And we'll extend the right arm long and the left leg long. Keeping those left toes pointing straight down towards the floor. We're going to seesaw our bodies a little bit. So we're keeping that belly strong, keeping the back as straight as we can. As the fingertips go down, the heel goes up. And then we switch. As the toes go down, the fingertips go up. Down and up. Switching one more time. And then we'll come back to center. And bring the hand to the knee on down. Recentering ourselves. We'll tuck all those toes that we can tuck, extending the left arm and the right leg. Toes are pointing straight down towards the floor, and we'll seesaw. The fingertips come down as the heel comes up. Toes come down as the fingertips come up. Feeling the front and back of that leg working. Feeling the core working. One more seesaw. Coming back to neutral, extending. And then bringing the hand and the knee back down. All right, taking the knees wide, big toes together. Shifting the hips back towards the heels for child's pose. The forehead comes down. The tailbone comes down. The elbows can bend out to the sides or extend those arms overhead. Taking a couple breaths here. Bringing the focus inward. Blocking out some of the craziness going on around us. Make our way back up to tabletop position. Bringing the knees all the way together. Let's see if I can get this right. Bringing the knees all the way together. And what we're going to do is we are going to take that left foot over to the left a little bit. So the knee stays where it is, but the foot's going to swing over to the left, and then the right leg's going to extend long, and the goal is to get opened up, standing on our left hand and our left knee, using that foot for a little bit of support. So very modified side plank, and it opens up the whole right side of the body. Lifting those or extending those fingertips over the ear. Big deep breath in to raise the arm back up and come back into your tabletop. Bringing the knees back together, the ankles back together. We'll try that on the other side now that you know where we're going. Swinging that right foot over to the right, extending the left leg long, standing up onto the right hand and the right knee. Maybe keeping the left fingertips up towards the ceiling, maybe extending them overhead, stretching that whole side. Inhaling, arm comes up. And exhaling, bringing the hand down, coming back into our tabletop. All right, go ahead and keep those knees together. Keep the ankles together. We're going to come to stand up on our knees. And if you need more of a pad under those knees, if you need to fold your mat one more time, that is always an option. So we've got our toes tucked. We've got our knees together. Our heels are also pressing towards one another as much as they can. And we're going to take the pinkies together at the low back. Bringing the pinkies towards one another, fingertips pointing down at the base of our spine. And we're pressing the elbows towards one another. Whoa. Opening up the chest, opening up the outer arms. And from here, we'll inhale, taking a big backstroke motion with one arm, bringing it back into that pinkies together position. Inhaling, taking a big backstroke motion with the other arm, and exhale back, hands to the back. Alternating one arm and then the other. Not rushing, taking your full inhale to move that arm around its full range of motion, and then exhaling to rest. Release those hands from the base of the spine. Shake out the wrists, shake out the shoulders. And we're coming back down into that child's pose. So taking the hands down, knees come wide, big toes together, hips come back, and we fold forward. Again, taking those elbows out to the sides if you had enough in the shoulder area. In the last minute or so, relaxing those arms wherever it feels comfortable to you. Letting your forehead be heavy down towards your mat. Make our way up into tabletop. If you've got your mat rolled up or a blanket or a towel on your mat, go ahead and move that off to the side, unroll your mat, and we're going to come onto our bellies. So coming onto our bellies, our legs are together and we're pointing those toes. The elbows are right underneath the shoulders and the palms are down. So we're lifting that chin, reaching the crown of the head high, pressing the elbows back towards the body to pull that belly button forward. So you'll feel your shoulder blades working towards one another. The upper back is getting a big back bend. And if this feels great, stay right here, keeping that chin level with the floor. If you want a little bit more of a back bend, you can press down into the palms and lift those elbows up just a couple inches or all the way straight with the arms. Whatever feels right to you, you can change your mind at any time. This moves the back bend lower down the spine, which might feel good for some people and it might feel terrible for some people. So not forcing your body into anything that is not appropriate for it. Big deep breath in wherever you are. And then lowering all the way down. Then we'll make our way back into a quick child's pose. Taking the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing on up. Knees come wide. And we sit back towards the heels. Noticing, now we're doing the opposite movement with the spine. Letting it relax. Letting the spine lengthen and round rather than arch back. Walking those fingertips over to the right. Walking the fingertips back to the middle and over to the left. Fingertips back to center. Big deep breath in. And exhale completely here. And then we'll make our way back up into our tabletop. Alrighty. Walking those hands a couple inches forward. Tucking the toes. We'll lift the knees, lift the hips. Coming up into our first downward facing dog. Alternating, bending and extending one knee and then the other. Just feeling out your hamstrings. Feeling out the backs of your ankles. You can keep alternating, pressing one heel and then the other into the floor. If you feel like taking it up a notch, you can find some stillness, lifting up the right leg as high as you can while keeping the toes pointing straight down towards the floor. Exhaling to lower that right foot. If you lifted it, inhaling to lift the left foot. Foot is pointing straight down towards the floor. And if you do not want to do this, this is just an option. You do not need to be here. You can still be alternating. One knee bends, one knee straightens. Alrighty, from here we're going to take the knees all the way back down. All the way back down. And then we're standing up on those knees. We are stepping the right foot forward and then stepping it even more forward. So far forward that the shin is straight up and down. So the knee is over that ankle. Hands can come down to the floor and the back knee can stay down or it can lift up. Wherever you want it to be. We're going to take the hands to the inside of the right foot and turn the right toes out to the right. So now the knee is kind of outward of that ankle, and that's just fine because we're not putting weight on that right leg. So we're getting a big stretch through the right hip, a big stretch through the left hip flexor. If you want more of a stretch, you can scoot that back knee back. You can bend your elbows, or or you can stay right where you are. Breathing here, especially into those hips. Maybe even rocking from side to side. Making our way carefully back into tabletop. Feeling a difference from one hip to the other. We'll stand up on those knees. Stepping the left foot forward. Walking it even farther forward. Pressing the hips forward until that knee is right over the ankle. We'll bring the hands down to the inside of that foot. Turn the toes out to the left, and the knee falls out to the left. That back knee can lift away from the floor. It can scoot back an inch or two. Your elbows might be able to bend. Just feeling out your stretch. While you are in this stretch, I am going to grab my water. Shifting from side to side, feeling out that left hip, the right hip flexor. We'll carefully make our way back to our tabletop, giving those wrists and those hands a break. Shaking out the wrists, maybe wiggling out your fingers. We'll bring the hands back down, tucking the toes, lifting those hips, and with bent knees, taking a walk forward to the top of your mat. Hanging out in a forward fold with knees bent, arms just hanging. They don't need to make contact with the floor. Releasing the back of your neck, releasing your whole entire spine. Noticing where you're feeling a stretch. If you're feeling a stretch in the backs of your knees, you need to bend your knees more. If you're feeling a stretch up behind your ears, you need to do this more often. Taking a couple full rounds of breath here. Noticing how your exhalation lets you get a little bit lower down towards the floor. We'll carefully roll one vertebrae at a time all the way up to stand. Okay, we're standing. We've got our feet hip width apart or a little bit wider. Our feet are pointing straight forward. They're parallel. Our kneecaps are pointing straight forward. Hips are stacked right over those knees. Shoulders are stacked right over those hips. The rib cage is straight up and down. Extending the arms long. Fingertips can spread down towards the floor. The neck is long. Coming into our mountain pose. We've been rolling around on our mats for about 35 minutes. So noticing how it feels to get back up and be upright in the world. Taking a couple full rounds of breath here. Feeling how strong your legs are and how strong your core is. All right, keeping our feet and our legs right where they are, we're going to do some sun breaths, moving with our breath. Inhaling, arms come out wide and all the way up. Exhaling, arms come out, we fold all the way forward. Little bend in the knees. Inhaling to lift halfway up, extending that spine long. Exhaling to fold back down. Inhaling to come out wide with the arms all the way up. And exhaling, hands to the heart. We'll do 2 more just like that. Inhaling, arms out wide and up. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling to fold on down. Inhaling, coming out wide and up. And exhale, hands come to heart. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling to bow. Inhaling, extending the spine long. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling out and up. And exhaling, hands into the heart. Alrighty. We are going to balance a little bit. Go ahead and shake out those arms. Shake out your legs. Oh wait, we're not balancing yet. We're warming up the legs some more. Sorry. Taking the legs out wide, and we're pointing the toes towards the top corners of the mat. We want to make sure when we bend our knees, that our knees bend in the same direction our feet are pointing. So if your knees are bending inward like this, you need to take your feet closer and point them more forward. If your knees are bending way outward of your feet, you need to take your feet farther apart. So everyone's going to look a little bit different in this. That's the beauty of a virtual class. Alrighty, so we've got our feet and our knees in alignment so that our knees are bending right over those feet. We're going to take the arms out wide, 5-pointed star or volcano pose. Taking a big deep breath in here. And on our exhale, we're bending through the knees, bending the elbows in close to the rib cage. Inhaling up. Exhaling to sit down into your moonflower flow. Moving with your breath. Moving quickly if you're breathing more quickly. Moving slowly if you're breathing more slowly. Keeping your back as straight up and down as you can. So we're not bending forward here, we're just moving straight up and down. If you feel any weirdness in your knees, don't go down as low. Or adjust your feet, listening to your body. Okay, from here we're going to keep doing pretty much the same movement with the legs, but with our arms we're going to make a big circle out wide, maybe touch the mat, inhaling, coming all the way back up. So now we're hinging forward a little to maybe touch the mat. Exhaling to lower the hands, inhaling to draw that big circle up. Exhaling on down, and inhaling up. Moving with your breath. Bringing the hands into the heart. Walking the feet back in, parallel. And now we're going to balance. So we're going to be standing onto that right foot. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm talking about. Actually, I'm not going to turn to the side yet. Standing onto the right foot, getting light into the left foot. Strong onto the whole right leg. Maybe tapping those left toes onto the mat to make sure that you're ready to stand on one foot. And then we are bending that left knee. You might just come here with your thighs parallel. Your knees are still hip width apart. So we're not taking this knee out to the side to help us balance or anything. We're just bending the knee, keeping the upper legs in alignment. So you might be here. If you can, grab the top of that foot and hold on to it. If not, just keep your leg bent. We can stay right here, or you can extend that right arm up and hinge forward, whether you're holding on to that leg or not. Strengthening the right leg, the whole right side. Stretching through that left thigh, the left knee. Inhaling to come on up. And exhaling to shake it out, release. We'll do that same pose on the other side. Standing onto the left foot, just tapping those right toes on the floor to get balanced on the left side. Keeping the thighs in alignment. Bending that right leg. Maybe just bending the knee, maybe holding onto the top of that foot. I lost it. Maybe holding onto the top of that foot and hinging forward if you feel like taking it a little bit farther. Continuing to breathe. We'll inhale to come all the way up. And exhale to release, shaking it out. Alrighty. Let's take the legs all the way together, the feet all the way together. And we are going to sit back into that fierce pose. So we're sitting back with the hips like we're going to be sitting into a chair. But you want to make sure you can see your big toes over your knees. The spine is straight. The weight is evenly between the balls of the feet and the heels. Bringing the hands into heart here. Extending those arms up, making a straight line from the fingertips all the way to the tailbone. So we're not sticking our booties out. Our spines are as straight as they can be. Continuing to breathe here. We'll take the arms out wide to the sides. And then exhale to give yourself a big hug. Inhaling, coming out wide again. And exhale, giving yourself a hug with the opposite elbow on top. Checking in with your spine. That it's still straight. Bringing the hands back into heart. We'll extend the hands up. On your exhale, go ahead and release. That was a lot on the legs. Shaking out those legs. And we are going to come to sit on our mats with our feet on the floor and our knees bent. This is going to be a hip stretch that you might do differently than another person who is doing this class, and that is all right. Again, the beauty of a virtual class. So I'm going to show you two different poses, and you should do the one that feels good to you. One is a figure four pose. So we've got the right foot on the floor, the left ankle crosses over. The closer your ankle is to your face, the more of the stretch you're going to get in that left hip. You can take the whole situation farther away from your face by extending that right foot away from you. You can bring it closer by bringing that right foot closer to you. So that's one hip stretch. If this feels fantastic, stay right here. If you want more of a hip stretch, this isn't going to be pretty. We've got our left ankle over the right knee, and rather than having that foot in alignment, we're going to kind of bring it over to the side. So we're stacking our shins one on top of the other. So if you can do it, you've got your right ankle on top of your left knee and your left ankle on top of your right knee. Your left knee is maybe on top of your right ankle. Stacking those shins one on top of the other. And the goal is to get them parallel. I am working towards that goal. If this is too much, if this is just terrible, be in that figure 4, stretch. Because that's just a fine stretch and it does just the same thing. But if you need more, come here to firewall. And if you need more, you can bring your hands down and fold forward over those shins. Wherever you need to be is where you should be. Not forcing anything, especially in those hips. Just getting a good stretch for you. And we're going to carefully make our way out of whatever hip stretch we're in. And we will switch sides. Taking the knees from side to side. Okay. Taking that right ankle over the left knee. Maybe this is your stretch. Adjusting the foot, bringing that foot closer to the face or farther away from the face. Moving that left foot towards you or away from you on the floor. If you want a little bit more, you can take those shins more parallel, coming to the outside of that left leg, stacking the shins one on top of the other. Again, if this is awful, stay in that figure 4 stretch. Breathing wherever you are, breathing into those hips. Doing lots and lots of hip stuff today. Stretching out your hips can release your back. It can release other places that are tight in your legs. It can release negative emotions. Watch out when you stretch your hips. We'll carefully make our way out of this stretch. Bringing the bottoms of both feet to the floor. Again, swinging those knees from side to side. We'll extend the legs long here. Sitting up nice and tall. Stack pose. Extending up through the crown of the head. Flexing those feet, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. Arms are down long at the sides. We'll bend the right leg, using that knee for a twist. So taking the right hand behind, wrapping that left arm around the leg, twisting to look over that right shoulder. Inhaling to get tall through the spine, and exhaling to twist. Coming back to center, extending the right leg, bending that left leg. Left hand comes back behind, extending up tall through the spine, and exhaling to twist. Use using that knee for a leverage point. Looking over the left shoulder, twisting all the way up into the neck. We'll inhale back to center. We're going to come down onto our backs on our mats. Hugging those knees in, rocking from side to side. Feeling out that back. And then we'll bring the bottoms of the feet together, taking the knees wide, bringing the outside edges of the feet down to the mat, letting those knees just fall apart. Feet can be in close to your body or farther away. Whatever feels right to you and your legs. Feeling your breath slowing down. Taking the hands to either side of the thighs and pressing those knees towards one another. Taking the knees from side to side just a couple times. We'll come into our final relaxation pose, which might be all the way out flat on your mat with your arms and legs extended. You might like it better with your knees bent, letting those knees fall towards one another, or even on your side. Whatever feels right to you. Relaxing on your mat, letting your body be relaxed and letting your body be heavy, letting your muscles be soft. They just stretched and worked, and now they are soft. Using your exhalations to release each part of your body. Exhaling to release the feet, the toes, feeling the weight of the heels against the floor. Exhaling to release the calves, feeling how soft those strong muscles are. Exhaling, releasing the fronts and the backs of the knees. The thighs and the hips. Feeling the weight of the pelvis against the floor. With your exhale, releasing the low back. Feeling the weight of your upper back. Releasing across your chest, releasing the shoulders and the arms, the hands and the fingers. Taking another big deep breath in and exhaling to relax your face, your jaw, feeling the weight of your head against the floor. Being still here for a minute or two, not dwelling for too long on any thought that might arise. beginning to deepen your breath. Taking little movements with your fingers and toes. Rolling out the wrists and the ankles. Bending those knees in and rolling to one side. Using the arms to press on up into that seated position. Sitting up nice and tall. Noticing how your hips feel. Hopefully there's some more space there. Extending that spine. We'll bring our hands together at heart. And we'll close with our 3 deep breaths. Taking a big deep breath in for the world. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Big deep breath in for our community. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Big deep breath in for ourselves. Bringing the hands back to heart. Thank you so much. Namaste.